All right, and we back. We got Hunter x Hunter chapter 407 today. And the last chapter we left off with all this craziness going on right before Hulkenberg's funeral. And I'm ready to just get right into it and see what madness is in store for us. So let's get to it. All right. Hunter x Hunter chapter 407. Negotiation. Okay. So we're back on whatever tier this is that the funeral is happening on. I want to say it's tier 3. And we got this huge crowd of people that's just waiting here for the funeral procession or whatever this is to get underway. And right here it says, the 9th Prince, Hulkenberg's funeral, leaves many devastated. All right, so we already know we about to get into something crazy. So let's see here. We got a crowd of people. We got guards there with guns standing at attention. We're looking at some people in the crowd. Everybody's looking a little bit distraught, to be honest. Clearly, these are some people that cared about Prince Hulkenberg and his cause and whatnot. So these guys are prime candidates to be arrow material, if you know what I mean. So we cut ahead a little bit. Well, not cut ahead, but we see a different part of the scene. And we see that it's Hulkenberg's main guards, the people that are basically his, the people that should have been protecting him during this succession war, carrying his coffin down the aisle, and that's why all the people was looking distraught. We got a note from the author here, Yoshihiro Tagashi. It says, "Is spring and fall becoming shorter, or summer and winter getting longer?" Man, I feel you, bro. Global warming, you know. But anyway, let's continue with the story. And they're bringing this coffin up these stairs. I believe they're bringing they're bringing them up this long ass staircase right now. And now we see it's the 12th day now at which is a Thursday at 1 p.m. Okay. So now we're cutting back to the 4th Prince's friends that we saw briefly in that last batch of chapters that have basically known him his entire life. That's Serednik. So let's see what they got to say. Borkson hasn't shown up. Borkson is a crazy name. I have there's a feeling for me that one of the people that Morena might be trying to kidnap might be one of these people out of this group, just because, I don't know, it might give her some leverage over Serednik, who isn't really caring about his mafia ties anymore, it seems like. But it could be, it could not be, it could be the Phantom Troop. We'll see. But anyway, other guy says no. I don't know any of these characters' names off top, I'll tell you that right now. The last contact was made moments before the funeral procession. 30 minutes ago, this chick, they all got berets on. The chick says, I'm wondering, are they actually a part of like the Royal Guard? How these other people were shown earlier in the chapter standing at attention because they got the same fit on? Or, you know, are they just kind of in there because of their ties to Serednik at the end of the day? But let's see. Okay. She might have been reassigned, or maybe she's pursuing a suspicious individual. We agreed to report any changes, right? Those theories don't explain her radio silence. You're right, we should assume the worst. Assuming that she's been abducted, by whom, and what would be their motive? Or what would their motive be? She's a soldier on duty, no less. How could she have been taken without resisting or causing a scene? Maybe they weren't alone. The bigger the group, the easier the abduction. If they used a restraining method like drugging and then surrounded her, it could go unnoticed by the crowd. Also, I don't remember if these guys know about like Nen and stuff, but since Serednik didn't, I'm gonna assume no. So if they don't know anything about Nen, which it seems like they don't, then because they're not, she's not even making it a possibility that someone has an ability that's able to, you know, kidnap people and very discreetly. So in my mind, it seems like no. Plus, if it was someone she recognized like a soldier, they might even be able to do it alone. They could just pretend she's sick and carry her to the hospital where their crew awaits. She might have been hypnotized by a type of Nen ability. Okay, never mind. That's the second time, second reaction back to back where I said something and then immediately took it back. But anyway, let's go. Maybe those Haley bastards kidnapped her to use as a pawn to assassinate Sari. So I'm curious why he, at the very least, if not all of them, know about Nen, but Serednik didn't. That's kind of crazy in my opinion. But continuing on, everybody's kind of just giving him a look, and then somebody else says, meaning the possibilities are just about endless. But oh my god, these names. Mamali is right about the worst case scenario. Is it really okay for us to not do anything about it? I know she said not to take action if one of us got abducted, but still. Hey, what are you lot standing around for? Need I remind you the security alert is still ongoing. Return to your post immediately. We have until the end of this guard for us to reach a decision. So now that I'm wondering if they all are posted together or if they actually have to split up at this point. And it's curious what could have possibly happened to this person, but I'm gonna assume that it's one of the people that Miranda just like got snatched up. You know what I'm saying? Because of their close proximity and the fact that Serednik might actually care about them when he doesn't care about pretty much anything. Okay, we got somebody waking up, and they're waking up and they see Miranda, so I might be proven correct right now, to be honest. And it looks like yes, this is the person that was with them. Also, yo, I'm loving the panel composition that Tagashi got going here, where you basically are seeing a parallel of Miranda and this person and the two people on the side of them from one panel to the next. Yeah. As a guy that is a big fan of some really nice composition, I rock with it. Oh man, he's doing his thing with the parallels and the panels. Let's keep it going. We got Miranda here. Welcome to our humble abode. I love Miranda, man. She's one of my favorite characters in this arc. This is the Haley's hideout, which would make you Miranda Prudo. What do you want? She's just playing it coy. Okay. What did they say her name was? 1 second. Borkson. Borkson is crazy. What the fuck kind of name? But anyway, I would like you to join us. It's not an obligation, but it's sort of like you're a compatible donor, you see. Therefore, I intend to do everything in my power to bring you on board. So if this is the specialist that she was looking for, I already know, even though I'm making fun of the name, Borkson's gonna end up being a cool character. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, she's a specialist. And if we go down the list of specialists, how many of them aren't a pretty unique character at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going. And so Borkson is just giving her a side-eye type look. 6 enemies, no restraints, but my weapons have been confiscated. Depends on the conditions. I don't remember a thing. This is her thinking to herself. I don't remember a thing. This was no ordinary abduction. They must have used a power I don't understand. And then she says, I can't give an immediate answer. So she's basically trying to buy her time right now while she figures out and is able to assess the situation a bit better, which I gotta commend her for, because a lot of people, because she woke up and she was cool, calm, collected, and immediately into the conversation with Miranda. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I was underestimating these people, but if she doesn't have an ability, then it's low-key slow, which obviously she doesn't, because Miranda was targeting somebody that didn't have an ability yet. So let's keep it going. But they do know about Nen, so this was kind of confusing to me a little bit. But let's see. I don't remember a thing. This was no ordinary abduction. They must have used a power I don't understand. I can't give an immediate answer. How, why? Oh, a Nen ability? What? That's weird. Did somebody read her mind? Oh, they read her mind? Let's see what's going on. How wise to avoid giving a straight yes or no answer. However, please understand that the more I say, the closer we are to reaching the point of no return. Yo, what other ability is Miranda about to pop out with right now, yo? Something crazy, I already know this. Is that a threat? Who knows? I'll let you decide. Yo! She badass, yo, I fuck with it. I can't get into specifics, but the longer we talk, I gotta do Miranda's voice like this, because she just seemed like that chick that ain't got no emotion in her body. I can't get into specifics, but the longer we talk, the riskier it gets for both of us. How convenient. I won't deny it, but that's to be expected with criminals. So I came up with the most efficient way for you to express your true emotions. This will be my only compromise. And she pulls out a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Okay. We settle this with a negotiation game. Okay. So she just loves games, clearly. Games is her thing, bro. Let's see what this is. If you quit this game, You sacrifice all freedoms except the right to say yes or no. First, explain the rules. It's a simple game where a parent makes a request to the child, and it only ends when the child reaches a conclusion. I, the parent, start with 7 cards, which are face up. You, the child, start with 5 cards, which are face down. The child selects one of the parent's cards, and when the parent answers, the card is sent to the graveyard. Then, it's the parent's turn to select one of the child's cards. The card is flipped, then discarded. This continues until the child is left with 1 card, which becomes their final answer to the request. Okay, that's interesting. Let me guess. The child has 4 yes cards and 1 no card. That's crazy if that's a fact. Feel free to look, starting from the left. Yes, no. What's this? The return card. The child can use it to select a card from the graveyard and return it to their hands. My bad. This really is Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm trying to think of what card that was when I used to play that as a kid. I could see it in my brain right now too. It was like a teal kind of color, and it looked like some kind of weird octopus cyclops thing. Something recovery. I'm about to look this up right now because it's gonna bother me. Very quickly. Yu-Gi-Oh! Recovery card. All right, now they're not showing the one I was looking for. Reborn card, something like that. No, it's bothering me, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't care. It's my stream. Here we go. Monster Reborn. That's it. Google it if you don't know. But anyway, let's continue on with this. What's this? The return card. The child can use it to select a card from the graveyard and return it to their hand. Meaning that if it's your last remaining card, you can use it to select any answer card you like. ... as she's thinking to herself. And then the Joker has yes, no. So this is the Joker that Kenny Wang was talking about. Maybe he was referencing this game in particular when he said that. But she's trying to analyze in her brain what the Joker card means. The Joker can transform into either a yes or a no, which again means that if it's your last card, you're free to choose your answer. So you say, yo, freaking Borkson is very perceptive, and I rock with her. She's already my favorite out of that little weirdo group of Saray Nich's friends. But let's see here. What do you mean? You just said that if I refuse to play, I'll be robbed of my right to do anything but say yes or no, which may as well mean you can't leave until you say yes. So is there any point to this game? Miranda says, flip the next card over. And now Miranda's just sitting there with a smirk, and Borkson is looking down at that card. We got a frame of her slowly flipping the card over, and it's got an X on it with a little whoosh around it. What's going on? This card is neither yes nor no. It means you don't have to choose an answer. Then, if I hold on to this card until the end, you're saying I can invalidate the entire game? Exactly. If you hold on to the X card, you'll be free to leave without answering. Naturally, we won't try to force any renegotiations either. That's a promise. Conversely, if you end up with yes or no as your final answer, then you need to be prepared to commit to that answer. Do you accept these terms? Yo, this is what I love about Hunter x Hunter, because stuff can be as simple or as complex as Togashi needs it to be. You know what I'm saying? This could have been there's 3 cards, 2 say yes, 1 says no, and that's it. But having each of these cards be completely different actually makes it much more interesting, especially because there's 5 of them on her side at the very least. Now, I want to see how Miranda's cards come into play, because if her cards didn't matter at all, really, then, it could just be Borkson's 5 cards in the game, and that's it. And she's just like shuffling them, to get rid of this one, get rid of this one, etc., etc. So let's see what goes on here. Okay, so you're barely halfway through the explanations. It's still too early for me to say. I was about to say, exactly, right? And then she thinks to herself, based on those explanations alone, it's clear that this puts me at a major disadvantage. At first glance, it looks like the child has the advantage because there's only one yes card and multiple ways of choosing no. But that's the first trap. Let's think this through. If I'm left with a yes card at the end, I automatically become her ally, which likely means having to follow all her orders. In other words, a total defeat. So, before I continue, do you think that this game is how Mirena got people into her Contagion game to begin with? All of the people that basically follow her in the Haley clan? Because I'm gonna say yes. Because you have to remember that none of these people were the original Haley members, and they're all people that she basically recruited to be into there. But I've always been wondering, like, why do these people follow her so, like, devotedly? You know what I'm saying? And it could be because they're actually being manipulated by this game into like having this ultimate belief in her. You know what I'm saying? So let's see how this continues. All right. Let's think this through. I'm left with a yes card at the end. I automatically become her ally, which likely means having to follow all her orders. In other words, total defeat. How about the no card then? It's probably no different to the yes card. It may look like an ally now, but I'm sure it'll bear its fangs when the game gets started and I hear the explanation. And then she looks over at Mirena's cards, which is what I was saying, and she says, for why there are yes and no cards on the parent side. Exactly, right? So, well, what about the parent side cards? Like, what we need to see what the role they're about to play here. Further explanations will likely clarify all the misfortunes that will befall me if I say no, until I'm made to think that saying yes might be better. In which case, both the no and the joker are useless. So looks like return and X are my best options. 2 out of 5, 40% isn't too bad, right? And there lies to the second trap. No, and there lies the second trap, my bad. I could have 1,000,000 strong cards. It doesn't matter one bit. As long as the parent is the one picking the cards, she can get away with anything. Moving on, allow me to explain the parent's cards. And finally, the third trap, the worst of them all. The objective card. If you select this card, I will explain my objective. The reason I invited you here and why I want you to join my team. I will do my best to keep it concise, but if you have any questions concerning the objective, I'll provide more detail. Next is the power card. If you select this card, I will explain my ability. And Borkson is just like giving her a stare down. I'm loving the art in this chapter. This art is so good. All the parallels between Borkson and Mirena and the game within the game of them having this mind game of Mirena just kind of doing her thing because she knows she's in control of everything at the moment. And Borkson just kind of being like, yeah, bitch, I see you. But yeah, let's continue. It may be beyond what you can grasp, but I will expose every aspect of my ability, divulging everything until you understand it fully. But like I said before, the longer we talk, the more dangerous it is for the both of us. So clearly there's some kind of like time limit on this game also. So please forgive me if my explanations are swift. And because of all these different variables and conditions and whatnot, and clearly the fact that there's some kind of risk for Mirena herself, that's why this ability is so powerful that it probably can have something like absolute manipulation over people. You know what I'm saying? But continuing on, now we got a card that says QA on it. The question A card, you are free to ask as many questions as you desire, all of which I will provide an answer for. However, I cannot answer questions pertaining to my ability or my objective, which makes sense because she has cards dedicated to that. If you're curious about those, you'll have to select the corresponding cards. There are 3 types of answers that I can provide. Yes, no, and finally, yes and no. Yeah, she's crazy, bro. I love her. If you wish for me to go more in depth in any of the answers given, please select the question B card, the following turn. I will answer anything related to that question until you're satisfied. However, it's only applicable to one question, the final question asked for question A. Be careful with your questions for the question A card. Got it. Well, at least, at the very, very least, Marina is being thorough in her explanation, you know what I'm saying? Even giving her a couple tips here and there, because, she's the first timer playing this game. Anyway. No, they're killing me, bro. I love Marina, yo. She might be top 5 in the arc, I can't lie. I don't need yes or no cards. There's something I'd like to confirm about the wording of answers. Could I ask a test question? Please do. Judging by body language and the tone of her voice, I can pretty much tell already. Already tell. There are no underhanded tricks to this game. Yes or no? And we got 2 of the Haley people on either side of her with blank stares on their face. I feel like we're going to find backstory about these people and how this game ended up getting them into this game. The Contagion game being a part of this fake Haley clan. And then we got Miranda just like straight faced. And that's part of the reason why I rock with her. She just looks like she's stoned 24/7. But anyway, it's about agreeing on the word. It's about agreeing on our wording for responses to negative questions. Good thing you asked, because this can cause confusion. For example, in response to the question, "Won't you do X?" there exists a people that answer yes, "I won't do X." Oh, I won't do X, yeah. Normally, a speaker makes themselves the subject, as in, "No, I won't do X." But this people makes the person they're talking to the subject. That's a typo right there, it seems like. And so, their response contains confirmation of the person's question, as in, "Yes, your assertion is correct." It could be the remains of their samurai society, or due to their culture of hospitality. In fact, in one region, apparently they even referred to the person they're talking to as myself. "Man, you guys are crazy, Yokotani." "My bad, I didn't even realize." And we got 2 of the Haley in the back. I can't remember what my man with the haircut could do, but the other guy is the guy that's like the guard that has the bot to take people out of the Haley hideout as long as Marina's in there. It appears this game is serving, which clearly his name is Yokotani, because the other guy just said it. It appears this game is serving as both a rite of passage and an interview. What's your answer? Marina is using this to judge and gauge the candidate's personality, intellect, and suitability for the group. "No, I won't do anything underhanded. And I say that as my own subject. Understood? Yes. This woman. Why does she hold so much rage?" Next up are the yes and no cards. What is she so angry about? It's because I saw a theory that might be right. I feel like if she really is potentially Sarasa, the girl that was a part of the original Phantom Troop before they were really the Phantom Troop back in Meteor City, and she was like one of Crow's best friends basically, and was actually killed and somehow brought back to life post-mortem, then that would explain why she has this strong ass fucking ability. And then also why she would have a huge amount of hatred for the Kaken Empire, especially if they were backing the Linz North guy that was doing the human trafficking of children and all that stuff under the guise of that foundation that he was running. She won't cheat. They explain what happens if you're left with either the yes or no card at the end. It's clear that she's the absolute master of herself and those dancing around her. If you'd like to know in advance, please select these cards. Despite their extreme confidence, they haven't once dropped their guard, and it's clear from their tone and demeanor that they resolutely object to cheating. Resolutely reject the cheating. Finally, this is the deal card. If there's a card you desperately want back from the graveyard, you can bring it back by fulfilling a small request. You're allowed to decline the small request after hearing the details, but in that case, deal will go to the graveyard and it will be my turn to draw. The game automatically ends when you're left with one card, so your last chance to play this is with 2 cards remaining. And that wraps up the rules. Will you please now decide if you want to play the game? I will play, but only on one condition. A condition? I get to select which of the child's face down cards to play. Is that okay with you? That's fine. I've played with that concession before. It's okay if my side handles the shuffling, right? Well then, shall we begin? Borkson and Morena's negotiation game begins. Woo! This was an info dump of a chapter if I ever seen one. But I like this chapter because Morena is just showing the fact that she has more than one ability to begin with, and the fact that this is probably the reason why she has all these loyal people around her to begin with. You know what I'm saying? As far as Borkson is concerned, I didn't give a shit about any of Serednik's like childhood friends or whatever. I felt like it was almost a waste of chapter space, of limited chapters in the last batch that they even focused on these people to begin with. But you know, that's how you always feel when they introduce something new that's not like immediately exciting, because you're like, damn, I want to see what's going on with this mafia stuff. I want to see what's going on with the Phantom Troop. I want to see what's going on with the Princess and Kurapika. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. But eventually, you know, a couple chapters later, Takashi adds more depth to it. He adds more layers to it. All he needed to do to convince us that these people were legit and interesting was just this scene of Borkson breaking down everything in her brain, the same way that he did with Heinrich in the last chapter. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm super invested in this character and her survival. And I think she's losing this shit, regardless of the fact that she was able to break down what Morena's doing, low key, high key. Because it just adds more to the story and the dynamic of her versus her friend group versus potentially Serednik if he ends up somehow intertwined with what Morena's got going on right now. And I just think that that's interesting. And I think that Takashi loves stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, I think it's going to be a very close game that she ends up losing in the end and ends up being a part of Morena's group here. But this chapter was good because it gave us a lot more expansion on, you know, how Morena has this operation moving the way that she has it moving. Even if we didn't get to see the fact that Dogman potentially tracked this chick down and the other guy potentially kidnapped her. The art in this chapter, some of the best since Tagashi's been back, literally. And the parallels between Borkson and Morena, we didn't even really get to see too much of the funeral itself besides these guys just yapping it up. So we still have that to look forward to, you know what I'm saying? And then also, I don't know what Morena's like goal is with recruiting this person outside of giving her a very specific Nen ability. But right now it's looking like Borkson is about to be the palm of this arc, where she is just going to end up being on the other side and having to go up against like her actual friends and whatnot. But let's see what ends up happening with this. And let me know your thoughts about the chapter and what you think is going to be the card that Borkson ends up with. If I had to take a guess, let me think. After going through all of this stuff, the thing about Takashi is that he goes to the lengths of making all of these cards have some depth to them and benefit or disadvantage either way, even if it's just a throwaway for this one chapter where they're not going to play a part at all. You know what I'm saying? Potentially. But if I had to guess one, I would say that it's probably the Joker, I guess, because the Joker card was literally put the emphasis on it last chapter or 2 chapters. I think it was last chapter. So I think that the Joker card is going to be important here, or it could be the X, because the X got the most. I would say it got the most emphasis as far as her cards went for this chapter. You know what I'm saying? But if she got the X, then she wouldn't have to deal with any of this stuff. And it's like, why set up all this if she's not gonna end up on their side to begin with? You know what I'm saying? But it is Takashi. He does what he wants. But I'm gonna go with the Joker here. I think that she's gonna end up with the Joker card. And as far as Morena's cards are concerned, which ones are gonna play the biggest role here? Um, I think that question A, she's gonna ask at least one question. I don't know if question B is gonna come into the fold or not, but question A for sure. And let's see here. And I think the D card, the small request card, is gonna come back as well. Some of these other ones, yes, but I don't think they're gonna play as big as a role as those two cards in particular. So let's see what ends up happening here. And my bad, the first card that she showed, which was the 1 second, the objective card. I think, well, either the objective card or the ability card, the power card. One of those two is gonna play a role as well, and it's probably gonna lead into the question A card. I don't think she's gonna go into question B. I think it's just there to be there. But maybe all of them will, but I don't think so. Definitively the D card, aka the small request card, and on the other chick's side, the Joker, I think is gonna be the one. So let me know your thoughts down below, and have a good whatever you're doing right now. And yeah, until the next one. Bye bye.